on here? Okay, well, I'm back again today with a live video again. Not the one I had really planned on doing today, but I didn't get back on my gateway that I was trying to figure out why it wouldn't boot because my, well, I did a bunch of other things today, but this evening here I'm going to do a little bit of a video on, always say a little bit or short, it probably won't be short, on my, well, that's just my screen. I can't show the machine. Well, yes, I can. Oh, that's what this is for. Okay. Might as well show and tell. Okay, down here and behind all that junk is the ASRock. It used to be an E-machines, and the motherboard had a bad cap syndrome. And rather than fix it, the person I was working on it for decided to buy a new one. So I said, well, if you want, I'll take the rest of the parts, you know, and trade, partial trade. And I already had a new ASRock motherboard that would work in it. It's an AMD dual core, and this ASRock motherboard's kind of cool. You can take anything from a dual core to an 8 core, and it'll use DDR2 and DDR3 memory, but it only has 2 slots. Well, it has 4 slots, but 2 of them are for DDR2 and 2 of them for DDR4 or 3. And you can only run, you know, the memory that matches your processor. So right now it's got 2 DDR2, 2 gigabytes. It will take up to 8 gigabytes, I think. Yeah, 8 gigabytes, 2 4s of 3 DDR3. And if you had an 8-core or 6-core processor that would support that that memory. So anyway, I had Windows 7 on it. I've had a couple of different operating systems on it, but I had Windows 7 64-bit, and I was just, the last few days I've been using it to back up my, I'm used to me just holding the camera on it there, using it to back up my videos and pictures and stuff to Google Photos. So they don't have a Linux app. I mean, it's they use Linux to write, you know, kernel for Android, but they don't make a. And the phones will do it, but they're pretty finicky. They work and don't work, and it's a real pain to get all your videos. What I do is usually I get all my videos that I do in the phone backed up. Then I to Google Photos. Then I take and either use SSH or, depending on how many I have on there. If I have a lot that's too slow, actually sometimes that errors out. So I'll take the SD card out and put it in an adapter I have. I'll show you the adapter. I have one, not one out of my, well, this is one that used to be in a phone, but it's got tape over it because it wants to fall out. This is a Wintec brand, and it's actually a Strontium brand adapter for Strontium SD cards, micro SD cards, and the tape's on there to keep that one. It's a little loose in there, and it's just some, you know, kind of heavy-duty tape, clear tape, to make it not fall out. And I was going to show it, maybe. Trying to get under there. That you can see the edge of that card. I'm not going to take it out this time. I've showed it other times before, but it's already trying to fall out. But anyway, that keeps it from coming loose, falling out, or just getting loose and not reading right. And what I'm going to do is put it in the that ASRock down there. Let me go ahead and put it in there. Go ahead and hit the boot them up right now, and let's see, is that the right one? Yeah, that should. Oh, of course I didn't have it switched. Let me switch my KVM switch. Now what my plan is here, I never did get to say, Windows 7 just crapped out, won't boot. Windows 7, as per most, oh, well, it didn't see the card. Maybe we'll get to see what's going on here. Maybe it'll be fixed this time, who knows. I don't know why it didn't boot straight to that thing. Maybe it wasn't in there good enough, or maybe I'm going to have to go into BIOS and tell it to boot to it. But it's doing it again, so it's going to just do that again, I guess. And what it said before is it can't can't fix it, and can't fix the boot, and so I was going to boot it to Party Magic and see if I could see what the state of the yeah, same thing. Cannot repair this. Just says, and I'll view the problem details again. Start up offline. That's the event name. Some numbers. Unknown. Auto failover. Corrupt registry. So that's what. Yeah, I forgot. Corrupt registry. So I don't know. I always boot this thing. I'm going to say don't send and finish, and it will just shut down. I think is what it does. Yeah, it shut down. So and now that I'm off of that machine, I can't do my switching. So let me just boot it back up and try to get into the startup. I may have to use a PS2 keyboard that I went ahead and plugged one into it because, well, it didn't respond. It's a good thing I did that because it didn't respond when I booted it up, and in order to get into it at first, you know, on my USB keyboard that's on my USB KVM switch. So I'll go ahead and hit escape on my keyboard. I want to see if it's going to work or not. I thought it did on this machine, actually. Some of them, they won't respond right away, you know, like they may later, but F2 or delete. I was hitting escape. Might have been too late. No, it worked. Okay, so I don't have to use that other PS2 keyboard. Sometimes just the fact that it's plugged in makes it work. But anyway, let's look at this BIOS. I want to triple check I don't make sure I have the camera I think I have on. I'm talking about all this and I wasn't showing it. Would really be bad. Okay. Oh, and my stream. I knew I had something. Okay, I'm on the right camera, but I didn't ever stop this stream, and that will use up my memory and make this machine lock up. So I got to get that turned off. Well, we weren't doing bad yet, but that's good. But see, 21% for Firefox, 27% for OBS Studio that's doing my streaming. That would wore it out quick. I almost completely forgot. Okay, so now I'm just going to have to go like that. I can't get really a better angle on the screen unless I sit here and hold the camera, and I can't hold it still. So that's the best I can get. If I can, I will try to. When I get into Party Magic, I think it might have TeamViewer, or I might be able to run TeamViewer Portable inside of Party Magic. We'll see. And then I can do remote desktop and show it right, you know, show it good. So, yeah, well, it's a AMD Athlon dual core 4050E 64-bit 2100 megahertz. Cache and stuff I don't usually pay a lot of attention to. DDR2 533 megahertz. That's 266 megahertz DDR2 533. Two of those. And let's see. Boot guard failure is on. Spread spectrum is on. And auto on the chip. Set voltage. Actually, this thing has like an auto overclock. This motherboard does that I have turned on or did. It's been on for a long time, so I don't think that's got anything to do with it. It does what's considered safe, you know. And so let's see. AM2 boost disabled. Let's see. I was trying to see where that. Onboard audio. I'm not going to go through this real in depth. It shouldn't have been changed. I mean, I know it happens on. The thing is, I've been running it through remote desktop. I didn't even have a monitor or a keyboard hooked up to it. I just had that. Only thing, well, I did have that PS2 keyboard in case I had needed it, but it was just stuck up on top of the machine. I never drug it out, hardly ever. And anyway, today I had it running backing up photos, and all of a sudden I noticed my remote desktop screen wasn't responding, and so I thought, oh, well, I'll just close it and open it back up, and it should be fine. Well, it didn't. That didn't work this time. keyboard remote power on, mouse remote power on. No, I don't have that turned on. I wouldn't really need that. Temperatures all look pretty normal. 107. That seems kind of warm for it just now started up, but I haven't paid a lot of attention to this one anyway. And it is an AMD, so that's probably why it seems warm to me. They run a little warmer than Intel's. Everything else I got's an Intel. So I don't know where that. Oh, OC tweaker. There it is. Overclock mode auto. So that's how I have that set. So I scanned through that and didn't notice it. Okay, first boot device, the CD. Second, the Maxter, which is now here's the other thing. I guess that's the drive it's tried to fix and couldn't. I have another drive in there that used to be my 32-bit Windows 7, and it got all infected with viruses. And I cleaned on it, about 10 different Linux rescue systems, and some that weren't Linux. And finally got to where it didn't come back with any more Trojans or viruses or anything. But then I thought, I still don't trust it. So I just wanted to save my files. I had a whole bunch of my phone videos backed up on there. So anyway, that's what I'm booted to, going to boot to. Oh, that's why it hasn't booted to it, because it's third in line. So I need to make it. Yeah, there we go. Hit plus and it went up. Oops, where'd it go? Oh, it went the other way. I hit plus and it goes down. That's weird. Okay, now I got it the way I want it, though. Okay, whatever. So now it's mass storage CD and then drive, but it's not even seeing. I knew it wasn't seeing it because it wasn't showing up in Windows Explorer, and I thought, well, what the heck? I'll worry about it later, because I was really just trying to get those photos backed up. So I don't know why it's not seeing that drive. It could be a lot of reasons, It is kind of, I see, no, that drive's okay. I was going to say that might be the one that was kind of getting old and throwing more errors, but yeah, I think it is the one. And that's why I had it in the Windows machine, so I could just keep running defrag on it. Actually, the newer Linux file systems are pretty good about doing that automatically now. So I used to have like ext3, 2, and 3. They didn't seem so great at that to me, or I didn't understand how to get them to do it or something, to ignore the bad sectors, But I kind of think now that I just didn't totally understand it, and it was actually always automatic. But the newer ones are supposed to be better, like was it BTRFS or something? See what Fedora's running one of those newer ones now. It has ext4 is for the root not the root partition, but the boot partition, and then the other is I think it's BTRFS. So anyway, security, and then save changes, and now it should boot to my gotta have a drink. I guess you can see that big old red cup moving around there. Now this time I'll leave it alone, and it should boot to my Easy2Boot SD card. It's in the USB adapter, so the machine thinks it's a USB, as far as I know. As far as they know and I know, it's a USB. There it is. And I got all kinds. See, I've got antivirus. I've got what have I got in there? I've got AVG, Bitdefender, F-Secure, VB Rescue. Back to main menu. Okay. What have I got in the DOS menu? FreeDOS. And that's all. Linux. Okay, I've got Debian. Debian 8. I figured as soon as I started talking, I'd need something. I got my cough top ready. I'll go ahead and get that. I can listen to me smack on that. I'll try not to do that. But I actually made three, a 39 and a 42-minute video. I was just doing tests. I was finally figured out how to get audio to come from my phones to OBS Studio. And this way I can take them. If the bandwidth will be high enough out there in the garage and everything, then I can take them out there and do live videos, or just OBS Studio and record them, or do them live straight to YouTube like I'm doing now from out there. and because out there I can't direct, I can't carry my. I mean, I could carry my V-amp and my SM58 and all that outside, but can't work on a car and do the things I'm doing out there, with all that. So I'm not going to do that later. It's supposed to rain a lot this week anyway, but I didn't feel good last week, and today I felt even worse all day. That's why I didn't work on that other machine. And I kind of started feeling better right before I got time for me to eat supper. I've already had supper because I got up about 1:30 this morning. And I wanted to do this. And I thought, well, I'll do this I don't want to talk on those camera mics. They don't sound as good as my SM58. And it's right here in front of me. So I drug all that out. So here I am doing a big major production again. It's for me anyway. Okay, Debian. Let's see, I've got Debian 8.7 i386, 8.8, AMD 64. Oh, and I've got, it says Debian testing. That's Debian 9. DRBL, that's for, it's a boot server. Diskless remote bootable. You can boot other machines up to it. Let's see, what's this? Fedora 25, Mate, i386 and 64-bit. Let's see, why do I have two of them? Oh, there's Fedora 26. I think that's the alpha or beta. I just got they've released it now, and I got the new release. I need to swap this ISO out, get the full release in here now. Delete these and put the full release in there. I didn't realize I had that in there. 25 live security, 386 and 64. Fedora server for installs. It's Fedora 25. I was going to put that on my server. Well, I can't because it won't run. It's a 64-bit. It won't run on my server. So I don't really need that on there anymore because whatever I put on my server, it won't be that. I didn't realize I built this a while back. Let's see, Fedora 26 XFCE. That's the alpha 1.7. I didn't know I had those on this thing. I need to just take all that off now. Get the released ones. And the 64-bit Party Magic, that's what I want. I've got the 2013. I think that's the newest one that there is, and then the i486 for the older machines. Okay, that's what I'm going to want. But first, let's go back to the main menu and see what else I got. I'll know exactly what I got to deal with. Oh, okay. Let's go to utilities. See what's in there. Let's see. Oh, I never tried any of this, but I didn't put that in there. That came with it. Mass storage controller, list matching XP driver pack, and 32 driver pack. List. It says list. Measure BIOS performance. Memory test. That's always good. Install grub for DOS. Oh, okay. Okay, that's good. That came with it. I didn't put that on there myself. And then in the Windows boot menu, now these Irons boot CD. Okay, I've got that in there. It's only one I've got in there. And then you have to pay attention to get to the right one. They're not in the same place every time. Windows install. Now I put some of these in here. Okay, what do I have? I've got, not quite sure, list control PC IDs. Install Windows 7. Oh, 4 of them. Okay. So this will be the sub menu of that, I guess. Okay, I've got Windows 7 Professional x86, Professional 64-bit, Home Premium, which is what's on 64-bit. Home Premium 64-bit, that's what's on this machine. So if I needed that to try to fix it, I might be able to fix it with that. First, I want to see what kind of shape the hard drives are in, see if I've lost any partitions. I might run TestDisk on it. Okay. Back to main menu. So, I mean, I don't believe there's anything important really on that drive. It's not big enough anyway. It's only like a 30 gig hard drive, and it was completely full. And I had to install, I figured out there was a bunch of Windows files. It was filling it up, and then I installed and ran. I set up something to run on basically like a cron job. In Linux it's called a cron job, but whatever they call it in Windows. It runs every boot and cleans up all those left behind files from Windows NXSS or something like that system. And okay, now that's the last of it. So let's go back to Linux. And then I realized that what was even on top of that, an app that I put on there for my phones to back up my phones called My Phone Explorer, that you can do remote desktop with your phones with it. That's the main reason I got it. Actually, the way it backs things up, I didn't really care for, and I don't use it. But what I didn't realize is that I probably did it, but it had there was a checkbox in the settings that said to delete the cache, from when it was running, and it was unchecked, and it had 9 gigabyte of cache in there, and that's what had completely filled it up. So I got it back to 10 gigabyte of free space where I could use it, and now, but it's been acting kind of funny. I'll boot it up, and I can't see what it's doing because I don't have a monitor on it, and it won't respond to remote desktop calls, and so I'll just have to hard shut it down. That's the only thing I can do, and then boot it back up, and it'll usually be fine the next time or two. Been doing that on and off the last 5 times, I don't know, it's probably done it 3 times out of 8 or something, boots, I don't know, something like that. Let me go ahead and get Parted Magic booting up. Let's see. Yeah, I want Parted Magic 2013. That's the last one. That's free, but the newest one. So its default settings 3264. Well, this is 64-bit system, so I don't know if it matters. Oh, let's do the one that runs from RAM. Yeah, that'll be fine. It'll run. I know this system used to have Windows 7 32-bit. I don't think it'll really care one way or the other. It'll probably run faster on the 32-bit. I don't know if it matters with this. It does with Windows. The minimum memory to run 64-bit Windows 7 is 2 gig, and they mean it. I mean, it will not really do much of anything. I've been meaning to take it off of there and go back to 32-bit. Of what I've got, this seems to be about the one I'd prefer to have. I just want one Windows system now. I had dual boots. I had 3 of them. A laptop. The Lenovo i5 still has. What happens is they all got infected somehow. I don't know. Never did trace it down where it came from. I hardly ever use them. I don't surf the internet with Windows, so it must have been something I had downloaded. The only thing I can, my best guess is I had a bunch of really old and some fairly new webcam apps that I had saved up that I still download stuff when I see it. Oh, that looks interesting. I'll try it later. Well, it might be years later. And one day I was just trying out webcam apps, and I hit something infected. And Avast, it went off and it stopped it and all that supposedly, but a few days later I had an infection that I evidently ran my whole network, and actually with only just these machines. But I may have actually manually put that app on each and one of those machines too. But anyway, it wasn't all right then and right there, but within, I don't know, I guess a month, all 3 of those machines were infected. So, and I don't want nothing on them bad, so I just kept cleaning. The others I just, let's see, have I reformatted it? Yeah, I reformatted the laptop. It just has Debian on it. ASRock, I told that story a while ago. I just did a new install on another small hard drive, and then the Lenovo i5 still has just a dormant Windows 7. It's a dual boot still, but I don't ever boot into it. I just haven't had time. That's the one I use all day, every day. It's the one I'm streaming from. I've only got about 19 gig left space on it, and I need all that space because it's divided kind of right in half. It's a 250 gigabyte hard drive. So I need to reformat it. I want to put Fedora 26. You can't. The only thing is you can't install from hardly any of these live boots that I have on here. They won't work right. I tried Fedora, it wouldn't install. Windows, you can. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. Actually, if you're going to install, I forgot about that. You can run the live systems usually just fine, but if you're going to install from them, I don't know why it's that way. All the ins and outs of it is pretty complicated. It was actually hard to set this system up. Easy to use once you get it going, but I had to make me a USB stick with a helper file on it, and you have to plug it in along with it. And if you boot it with that on both of them, you know, in the machine at the same time, then it has to be on a separate stick. It can't be on the same one that you're booting from, which is weird. Then you can install from it, and I think I might have done that. I think that's how I put 64-bit on this machine here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But if you try to, it'll happily let you run the install, but all it'll do is error out on you. The Windows, you know, the installer will let you do it. But anyway, let's see. I don't see. Yeah, let's do disk health. I don't see anything about. Let's go look before we do all that. Before we do the disk health, well, I can click on one of the disks. Okay, Maxter. And storage device and unknown model. That must be my other one. That it must have got something went wrong with it. I'll see what's going on with that in a minute here. Okay, so I wanted to see if it had TeamViewer already on here. I swear one of these live systems had TeamViewer already on it. Or maybe I just ran TeamViewer and it did, and it worked. Networking, okay. That would be what it would probably be. It's really small, I can barely see it. I'm sure it can't be seen by the camera. No TeamViewer. Okay, I'll just look over this right quick since I'm already here. The Mac Store, 30.75 gigabytes, 28.64 usable, it looks like. Overall health passed. Soft error rate, old age. As the self-testing and the smart error log. Only the last 5 errors are stored. That's all that red letter is there. So it's okay. This one's okay. Okay. Storage device. I think that's what I'm booted to. Yeah, I'm pretty sure because, yeah, SDB, that's going to be it. This one should be my other hard drive that I don't know why it disappeared. No additional information. I bet it's lost its partitions and everything. I think maybe the boot just got broke from me hard shutting down Windows. It doesn't handle that well, not like Linux. Linux, you can do it a lot. You hardly ever do break them doing that. Hardly ever. I mean, I'm not exaggerating. Okay, let's see. Well, before I'll see if I can get TeamViewer up first to see if I can get that to run in portable mode on here. Then where's the mount devices? That's what I want. Okay. If I need to mount anything, we'll put that over there. It may already be mounted. Let's see. Okay, there. I think I have some. Oh no, that's the hard drive. Okay, so it's still good. Yeah, Windows, documents and settings. I don't think I have much of anything on here. Yeah, a few Google Photos backup that hasn't been used. I didn't. And there are a bunch of screenshots. I have a bunch of screenshots. Some few documents from me. You know, saving information when I was working. No downloads. Okay, that's what I thought, because I really haven't done anything Didn't have any space to put anything on it if I wanted to. Okay, so Mac Store. What's that? Okay, here it is. 30 gigabyte, 32 gigabyte SD. Now in my Dons files, okay, a few screenshots, more than a few. All my product keys from my Windows 7 system, in case I needed them. URB diskless. Ported Magic. Team Viewer, there it is. Now let's see what else is in here. Easy to boot stuff. OBS Studio. Oh yeah, I was gonna, because you can run that. You can run OBS Studio, what I'm running to do my stream. You can run it in portable mode. I tried that in the Bane 8, or the way they told me to do it within the command line. It didn't work. Got to thinking, why didn't I just unzip it and see if I could run it from there? That's what I usually do with portable apps. Unzip it and find the run file and run it. It didn't work. No matter, I tried to install it, tried to run it in portable, I tried everything. Anyway, yeah, I kept installing the dependencies and it kept saying they were missing. Okay, so let's just go on to I have some VNC software, and then I have TeamViewer, which actually runs pretty good in portable mode. If I have it, if I have the portable, how do I run TeamViewer in a Linux system? I might want to read up on that, make sure I remember how to do it. Set up, execute, RPM, targz. Oh, it's the targz. I remember that. Let's open that up. That's a HTML file. It should just open up in the browser. I remember it's pretty. Oh, you're not supposed to do that. Crap. That just crashed the whole thing. Why would it do that just because I opened up a browser file? It's like an X server crash, I think. Isn't that pretty designs? I don't even think it's responding to the keyboard at all. I hope this machine itself isn't crapping out. Well, I'll reboot it. This time I'll try 64-bit, I guess. It looked perfect. I mean, the resolution was even, exactly, wasn't even off. It wasn't, a lot of times it'll be like 1024 by 768 or something, but that was like finer resolution than I run on my machines normally. It was too small for me to see. A higher resolution. Okay, we're back. That boots up pretty quick, doesn't it? Let's see, it was in Linux. Okay, let's see. Some of those questions and stuff, I always thought you had to answer that, and you don't. You leave it alone, it'll just boot. Just try that. There is an alternate graphical server, but it didn't act like it had any trouble, and I'll just go ahead and do this. This one doesn't look like it's going to run from RAM, which is fine. It'll actually boot up a little quicker usually. If it's running from RAM, then you could pull the SD card out if you wanted to. I don't usually need to do that anyway, but I did it not too long ago. I was setting up a Fedora 25 on a laptop, helping somebody, and I had actually booted from a CD, and we needed to take it out. So we could just take it out. because it booted to memory, and that was the whole point, you know, of them making it that way. Well, it's booting up. Actually, that wouldn't be a good idea. Did I do that while it was booting up last time? Switch over. You don't when especially with Parted Magic, you don't want to switch while it's booting up because it's looking at your hardware, and when you do that, it changes from showing the real monitor to an emulation, and which would be like 10, at best 1024 by 768 VGA signal. It's coming from that KVM switch. Okay, so now what was I trying to do? Oh, I was in my. There we go. Okay, the boot app also opens up the file manager. But I think when you click on some drives, I think you can just click on them and they'll just mount. And some of them you have to go over there and click that mount button. Okay, now this time, well, you know what? I don't need to even risking that again. I'm pretty sure I know how to do that. I'm just going to you just execute the right file, and then you'll be working. I'll just extract this somewhere where I can find it easy. I usually don't do that at desktop, but I'll probably just do desktop if I can find that easy. Let's go see. Not sure what's the easiest place to find in this system. Not system reserved, that's for sure. Boot, Magic. Okay, that's my Windows system. So it's DB4. Okay. So somewhere in there, I can find it there. And just plain old SDB4. Oh, I didn't know I had so many. Didn't know I had all this opened up. Every different one, it opened up a new. It opened up a new tab for me. Okay, wrong one. No, there it is. Yeah. Unless you're on the same drive. Okay. Now then. Yeah, if this will work, then I think you do have to. Yeah, I'll put it in the archive manager, and then there was an extract, but I'll look at it here and then extract it to. Okay, extract. And I want to tell it to do SDB4. It'll be in my memory, but I've got 2 gig. Oh, not permitted. Well, let's see if I can just run it from this drive then. I'll just extract it to extract to where? I guess somewhere in downloads. Let's see. Why don't I make a new folder? Yeah. Yeah, I might have to I don't want to make a new folder like that in a hard place to get to. Oh, there's desktop. File system, home, there. That's where I want it. File system home. Then I should, if I open up a terminal window to try to run that, it should take me to home, and then all I have to do is like CD into show files. There we go. TV setup. Okay, all I ever think I have to do is run TeamViewer. Let's see if I can run it. Yeah. Okay, it's gonna open terminal here. No. Okay. I don't need that zip open anymore. go back to that. It doesn't give you the permissions. Yeah. Should be able to run it. Okay. So I'll just leave that open to make sure it's easy. Okay, here's the terminal right here. Parted Magic. Home. Did I get it? I think I mistyped something. Let's see. Home Team Viewer. I'm going to copy it, paste it in there. Okay, home. I'll just paste it in there if I can. There we go. It's not like the ones I'm used to. Okay, now then. ./TEAMVIEWER Team Viewer. That's going to try to run it. Ah, good. Good. There we go. This is the one you can run Team Viewer on. You just have to run it in portable mode. Well, so far so good anyway. It hasn't completely opened up yet. I'll leave all this alone until it does. You can close that thing on the right, but let's just hang on here. Everything I'm doing here is in memory, so I have to close things up as soon as I can. Oh, come on. You're going to work, aren't you? Oh, well, what is all that? It's there. But that's... Well, let's just minimize that. Let's close this part. Maybe that's going to show up when I log in. Okay, now my ID is 7846. Oh, I got to know all that. I got to write that down so that when I get off the screen, I'll be able to do it. Okay, TeamViewer. 788. No, I can't remember these. I couldn't remember part of them, much less all of it. 63839. I can barely get it wrote down. 78, 46. What did I do? 78, 463, 839. Okay. And then 5923. 788, 463, 839, 592. 5923. They give you a unique password every time you open and close TeamViewer, so that's kind of cool. And if you open and close the app on the same machine, it will keep the same. I'm going to close the file viewer and all that stuff. Let's see, I'm going to leave that right there. Maybe minimize it in a minute. Okay, now I got to get back over here to my main machine and I think I saw a mosquito fly litting around on my finger there, but it went away. I didn't get to kill it or anything. Okay, desktop screencast. Let's before we go on to doing that, let's see if we're live and nationwide, worldwide, web. Before we go configuring, we're all A-OK. Okay, live dashboard. Let's look. I thought it was going to take a while to come up. Sometimes it's kind of sluggish. My handheld phone cord is driving me crazy, hanging down there like that. Okay, we're live and we're good, and that only took 44 minutes just to get that far. That's not bad, right? Okay, but we are good. Okay. Now, let's see about TeamViewer. You have to wait till the app comes up. I gotta remember that. I keep forgetting. I'm starting to begin to remember that. That you can do, that this is the one you can do that with. Yeah, see, that's what I was expecting right there. Just that and that. I don't know what that other window is all about, unless it was an ad or something. Okay, I'm doing the desktop. Uh-oh. That was very sluggish. But I'm doing the desktop. I don't have, well, I just got through opening and closing. It looked fine, though. Just because of that, I'm going to close Crusader too. There's no need any more running than I need it. Okay, now I'm pretty sure I never connected to that before, so it won't be in the list. 788, 463, 839, 839, 788, 463, 839. Connect. There we go. 5923, 5923. Cool. Now that's how it was supposed to have worked on Fedora 2564-bit. I never got anything to work on it. Okay, so it minimized itself. I'll minimize that. You don't want to close that terminal window. It'll close your TeamViewer. And then you can make this go off to the side and get it out of the way. And there we go. We are remote. Okay. We have a good stream. And okay, now here's what I want to do. First, I want to do, it took a while, but it all took a while. You can make this small, go out of the way too. Partition 4 on dev SDB have been written, but have been unable to reform the kernel of the change, probably because they are in use as a result of old partitions will remain in use. You should reboot now before making further changes. Huh. Hit cancel. I don't want to ignore and mess things up. We can make that smaller there. Okay. Just pull it up to the middle here. If I make it big, it won't really help in this case. I like to have everything full screen most of the time, but I just want to look at my partitions first. Let's see. Dev SDB. Yeah, that's the one we're running off of. And then SDA. Okay. Now, SDA1 is going to be the used 24.39 megabyte, unused 75.61 megabyte. Boot. Oh, okay. Oh, because that's the boot hidden boot partition. Okay, system reserved. Oh, 100 megabytes. Okay, I thought that was the main partition. And SDA2, 28.54 gigabytes, used 17.88, free 10.56. So that's what I expect. It's just the booters broke. The Windows bootloaders broke. Now, this one is lost. It says unallocated. It says 1.52 megabytes. They say MIB instead of MB. And I found out one time a couple of years ago, or a few years ago, whenever it was, that that's actually proper. And we all been, the whole rest of the world's been wrong. MB is not stand for megabyte. It's MIB. Of course, MIB makes so much sense since it's spelled ME, megabyte. There's no I in megabyte, except for towards the end there. But if you're going to say, you say MEB for megabyte, it makes sense. So I don't know why they do so many different abbreviations that way. But in here, I probably won't, especially with that error, I probably wouldn't try to repair it, even if it was going to try to help me. Doesn't look like it can anyway. It just sees it as being gone. So as far as fixing the boot, I can either use some other tools like Party Magic, some boot fixing tools. I can't even think of the name of them right now. You know, I don't know if I even have that on this boot thing here. I might have to. I have it on an old CD. I know that. Well, for Windows 7, you'll need a newer version anyway, or I can fix it with the actual Windows ISO. That would probably might be a good way to do it, because that I've never hardly ever, once or twice have I ever seen that Windows 7 auto repair actually work. But this is in good health and everything. It's just got a broken bootloader somewhere. Well, I could have looked at the let's open it up again. Oh, I meant to look at the mount. Hit cancel again. I meant to look at the what I was wondering is, can I tell about the unmount? Okay, it's mounted. That's why it's walking like that. But mounted on reserve system. Yeah, because I was clicking on everything. But I can do that with that mount, unmount. What I was looking for is if the if I want to see the health of the boot partition, I need to use that other app that's for that. Mount GTK. See, all this stuff was mounted. I wasn't really paying attention, so I need to unmount that. Don't need that mounted either. What am I running this off of? And that I need. Why do we have two of them though? 298 megabyte ISO. Oh, that's what we're running the operating system on. And then it's a virtual drive there. Yeah, and then SDB1. Okay, and then SDB4. Okay, so we need to keep those. That would break our operating system. That's what we need. And we're running Parted Magic off of that SD card, so can't unmount that. Well, it still did it. Doesn't matter. I'm not going to do any work. If you wouldn't want to start, you get those kind of errors, you don't want to start working on the drive. But all I want is I would temp rescue, but I wouldn't do that because I haven't had good luck with it doing this automatic rescue. But what I have had good luck with, and and it tells you what you're doing before you do it, is TestDisk. It is a command line. Right there. It is a command line app, but oops, it's not going to make you a big screen anyway. But it has a CLI. You can use your mouse and your keyboard. I'll go ahead and try using the mouse if it'll do it. And I don't think you can. I think you have to use the keyboard. Okay, so this one's not missing any partitions or anything, so I don't want to do the 30 gigabyte. I want to do the wait. It doesn't see it. Oh, man. I wonder. This machine, there may not be anything wrong with it. This machine didn't have when I went to put another hard drive in it, it had it had one Molex. It had one or two Molexes. And anyway, and then it had one. I think it had two free of the newer type plugs for the SATA drives, SATA drives, and it didn't have an extra Molex. So I spliced in a Molex. I cut one off of an old dead power supply out in the garage, and I spliced in the Molex connector with crimp connectors, or quick connectors they used to call them. And it seems sturdy and everything. I don't really like them because they are prone to come loose on you sometimes. And these new ones are so crappily made they even break sometimes. I wonder if that came loose in there. I haven't. Well, I did move it the other day. I leaned it out to get to the back for something the other day. I can't remember if that was before or after it quit working. But if TestDisk doesn't even see the drive, then you're in trouble. Your drive's in trouble. Yeah, because SDA is the one with the broken boot, and SDB, and unless the power supply's going out or something, I mean, it wasn't a very strong power supply, and it did have a few swollen caps, because this is the machine that the motherboard had bad cap syndrome, and there was a couple of swollen caps in there. I didn't see any leaking. So I've always been a little leery of that power supply. It's kind of not a very strong one. It's like 200, 250 watt or something. But I thought, well, you know, it already had the plugs in it for 2 hard drives. And so all I'm doing is, I'm not using all the SATAs. I'm just switching same amount of voltage and same amps and everything, you know, should be. I mean, if a newer drive uses a little less amps, maybe, I don't know, but I don't think it'd be that much. So anyway, let's just run a report on it. It's Intel and Analyze and HPF, quick search, HPFS, NTFS, and I believe the green means they're good. And you can go further. Let's see. Structure okay, up, down. Enter to continue. I don't want to do anything to it and mess it up. Let's see. I don't believe this could fix that window. It won't fix Windows boot. It'll bring back, you can bring back lost files or lost partitions. And I mean, it'll do it. You can get back a whole, you think you're completely lost. If your drive can be seen by it, it can bring back, it'll show you all the partitions, previous partitions that were in there. You can bring back the one you want, which usually is the last one, the newest one. But this is so small I can barely read it. Good thing it is remote desktop where it can be seen by those with good eyes. Let's see. Use up and down keys to select the partition, left and right to change the characteristics. Star is primary bootable, P is primary and L is logical, X is extended, D is deleted. And then keys, A, add partition, L, load backup, T, change type, P, list files. Enter to continue. Now I'm just not going to do anything. It's got the star, that's the boot partition, and the P, that's the primary, and that's exactly how we want it. I didn't, I just really went in here for an example since I couldn't see the other drive. So I'm going to close the app like that. So I don't know. Let's just go look through the apps. I don't think I'm going to have anything for fixing boot in here. This is more about partitions and stuff, file systems. Bluetooth. I thought it said boot manager, Bluetooth manager. Okay, let's see. You can do backups. You can make images. I've used it quite a bit. I use can do a clam AV scan. It's a little bit tricky because it's all like command lines, CLI. I think it just opens up a terminal with. It'll automatically download the newest definitions and then opens up in a terminal, and you've got to type out tell it where to scan, and that's hard to get right for me. It's got some, there's a lot, mostly GUI apps, but like that FTP, I think is a terminal GUI. GFTP's GUI, graphical user interface. Let's see. There's a VNC viewer, but not a server. See, I needed the server. I'm not seeing. That's networking. That's why. Yeah, ClamTK. That's where I think. Oh no, I think that might be a graphical version of it. I'm not going to do that right now anyway. But disk cloning, Clonezilla. I've used that a lot to make an image of make a backup image of an entire disk. Then you can restore it to it or another disk, That's really good when you got one you want to save that way. Like now that I have my big old 4.5 terabyte USB drive, I could just plug it into this machine and put a whole system on it, if I needed to. Used to, I was always struggling for space, and I would usually have to do it through the network, which is a little tricky, but I learned how to do it. I always forget because I don't do it very often, but it's not hard actually to do it through the network. You just got to have the right kind of folder on that machine to mount that will be mounted remotely by this system and all this stuff. And it's got to be writable. Ghost for Linux. I've tried that, and I think I've actually had more trouble with it. Erase disk. I've never done that. GRSync. That's a syncing app. I use it, but I use it through Lucky Backup. rsync. GRSync is like graphic rsync, and Lucky Backup is another graphic interface, a really good, easy to use rsync interface. Rsync's terminal app, But anyway, it's really my favorite way to back up. Smart control. You can install this to a USB stick if you want. from right here. Lalo's another boot manager. That's what I ought to do. I ought to just put install grub on there and forget about it. I could do that. Ported Magic Services, partition image, partition editor. There's another one. I think that's just Gparted. What I just had. Oh yeah, it's Gparted. Photo rack, that'll recover pictures and stuff like that. Terminal, Roxy Term, Rox File Manager, Rox, I always call it Roxy. Roxy File Manager, Roxy Term, Terminal. Then safely remove the USB HDD. I don't think you could do that unless you booted to memory. But anyway, saving Parted Magic. You could save it as the state that it's in. Actually, that would be cool with the TeamViewer already ready to go. I haven't tried that. Should. System Stability Tester, Profiler, Task Manager, TestDisk, TrueCrypt. I tried that out years ago. And disk cloning. That's another one. UPcast disk cloning. I don't know if I've ever tried that or not. I probably did. I've tried most everything that it's got. But okay, so that's disappointing though. That I want to open up TestDisk again just to see, is it really not showing up? It didn't show up in. Oh, there's a virus scanner link. No claim AV definitions were found. Would you like to download them? No, I've done that before. And I think you still end up with the terminal window to run clam AV, even though he's got some of those automatic disk eraser, disk cloning. I think that's Clonezilla, the one I like to use. And System Profiler, that'll tell you a lot about your hardware. But what I'm really lamenting about here is, where's my other hard drive? Well, what I guess I need to do, this time I'm going to click ignore just to see. Because it knows 1.52. Oh, that's just the empty space on that drive. Dummy. But there's not seeing another drive. There should be 3 in there. This is the one I'm using to boot to, the SD card. This is the Maxter hard drive. So this system, it's not, if it's not showing up in Parted Magic or any of the other apps like Clone, TestDisk, then that thing is not being seen by the system, period. Sometimes it will show up in here, especially in TestDisk, even if it doesn't be seen in the BIOS. And you can straighten things, fix it, you know, like, especially if the boot partition, the master boot record, the MBR is gone, and your partitions are gone, and either or, and it won't show up to your operating system, especially Windows. It won't show up to BIOS, maybe. At least I think I remember that happening, and be able to find it in here and fix it. So I don't know. It could have just completely died. I'm pretty sure I had. There was still a bunch of those videos on there, but I think I had them all backed up. I think I had some notes, sticky notes, telling me what I've done. I believe if I look through them, I'll see that I had it all backed up already. Because I remember I wasn't worried about it, and then I saw them. I thought, oh, do I need to back those up? I'd kind of forgot about them. But anyway, that's another fun thing for another fun day. Okay, let's get out of this. All we need to do is just reboot. We're going to lose our remote desktop, so I guess I'll let's go back to the main machine, and I'll put it back on camera so I can be showing what's going on, even though it won't be as good of a picture. Oh, I'm on the main machine. So what we need to do then is let's just do it normally here, properly or whatever. Close it right there. Close the remote session. Close this, and then I'll get over here and go to the camera. That's the one. Which one is it? That one there. Okay, so since I've gone on and on for a while, before I take off, I'll go ahead and let's go back to the desktop first. Go back and look at my live dashboard. What I'm going to do is boot back up into like something that can maybe fix it. But I think I need a little break. So at an hour and 5 minutes is a good time to break a video in half, wouldn't you say? So yeah, it's good and everything's fine. So pause it. Yeah, let's do that. Been needing a break for a little while here. So yeah, I'm gonna go come back and boot it back up, and I don't know. I'll look through my little stick there and see what I got to fix this mess with. All right.